Ba-da-ba-bum. Oops, I'm taller than my chair. There we go. Hello, everybody. How's it going? I forgot to actually look at my hair very closely. Well, good enough, right? You can see me. We can see the Hobbit. This is the important stuff. How is everybody doing today? So welcome to Heart of a Hobbit. Ta-da! We are here. Yeah, I'm at that point where it's like, I like the short hair, but I'm not sure what I want to do. And so I'm letting it grow until I figure out what I'm doing with it. But I think I want to keep it short, but I'm not sure how short. And then winter is coming, you know. Hello, I'll be a Stark for you today. So, you know, I want some warmth. And yes, Sandy, the servers are back up as of like 15 minutes ago or something. So yeah, they're back. Boop, boop. So feel free to get back in and get back on your midsummer pathing, as it were. So yes, so hello everybody. So I am Little Redhead, and this is my show, Heart of a Hobbit, here on the official Lotro Twitch channel, so twitch.tv/Lotro stream. And I will be your host today, taking you around the world of Middle Earth, or at least some of it. So we are playing Lord of the Rings online, and so there are so many different things you can do in Lord of the Rings Online. It is a huge space that you can play in. The main thrust of the game takes you through like an epic storyline that very much parallels what the Fellowship did. And so you are kind of walking through the game in tandem, doing quests and meeting people that are parallel to the Fellowship. So you're not part of the Fellowship, but you're doing things that are helping pave the way for them, or keep people from pursuing them who might have picked up their scent and things of that sort. So you're helping out. And so that way you're able to be a part of the story and be in Middle Earth and be engaging with the things that you've read about and that you love, without being like, hey, how could this possibly be happening? You know, it's like, well, you're on the side. You're those chapters that didn't end up on the page, right? In the books that Tolkien wrote. Because you know, it takes everybody in Middle Earth, like the free peoples against the servants of Sauron, you know, clashing in the background, right? So Aaronvard asks, servers were down, question mark? Yes, the servers, they do a weekly restart, and they did their weekly restart today instead of tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly why, but one of the things they did fix was if you are participating in the landscape difficulty challenge. So let's see, where's mine? Yes, I'm on difficulty number 7, heroic. And so periodically tokens of heroism might drop if I'm engaged in battle with something of my level, around my level. And if you were defeated, those tokens no longer dropped for you until you like logged out, logged back in. And so we were doing a bit of that, which is a bit silly. So supposedly that's been now fixed. And so now if you are defeated, you'll still be able to keep picking up those tokens of heroism going forward. So yay. I'm very happy for that. So, oh, hey, and Sandy, while you're here, let me show you. Dun, 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 dun. I finished my first sweater. Baby's first sweater is done. So there we go. It's got a cute little V-neck in the front with this kind of like, it's not a cord. I don't know. It's just like multiple stitches together that kind of give it like a little edge and stuff. And then it's got a little edge on the neck. It's got this diagonal line coming across for the sleeves, known as raglan is the name of that style and construction, and it's as long as my torso, so it fits in that regard. So turned out really good. I'm really happy about it, and I've already actually been wearing it, which is funny because I want to wash it and block it still. But I'm like, the other night it was a little cool down here, and I'm like, my sweater's here, I'm just gonna put that on, and oh my gosh, it's so soft. It's like, it's exactly what I wanted. I'm really, really happy about it. And it's great because it's definitely wearable. And I think as I go forward, there'll be things that I learn about ways that I did things that I can improve on. So I'm really happy that it's both something I can use and not feel awkward wearing it. Like, it doesn't have weird things going on where I'm like, well, that looks obviously misconstructed. But yeah, but yet I feel like it's definitely a step in the learning process. So it's so funny because, yeah, I love the colors too, Sandy. Sandy says, I love the colors. I do too. I'm just loving this yarn. So it stripes on its own. Like I didn't have to do any of that. It's just a self-striping yarn. And it's so funny because like in the larger spots, like the torso, because you're just going round and round and round and round and round, it has smaller stripes. And then on the sleeves, which are also tubes, but much smaller tubes, the stripes, you know, are bigger because it takes that much longer for the color to change. And and then you get back up to here where you combine the sleeve and the top and the torso, and then you're going round and round and round again in a bigger tube again. And so then like the sleeve transitions from these big long stripes to these shorter stripes. So it's kind of funny. And I was like, how much does that stick out? Like, is that going to look bad? Do I like this? Do I not like this? I mean, I see it, and it's obvious to me. I mean, if I were drawing it out, I would prefer the stripes to be the same all the way down. The narrow stripes or the big stripes, either one, I wouldn't care. But I've looked at other people's sweaters, and they have the same thing going on with that sales, you know, if you have any sort of color changing yarn that does it on its own. So yeah, it's not just me. Other people have it too. So I'll just set that right there. Yay, I'm very happy about it. Like, woohoo! Hello, Mayor Lily, and thank you. I'm getting some congratulations there from folks. Let's see. Yes. Sandy and Mayor Lily, love the colors. Thank you, thank you. It was yarn that I bought on discount because I'm really bad about paying full price for yarn. So I got lucky, but I mean, I picked it, obviously. There were other options I could have picked, and I chose this. So yeah, I'm really happy with those colors. I love mint green. I'm just like a huge mint green fan these days. Like everything, at a point I realized that I have pants that are mint green. I have a sweater, like a cardigan that's mint green. I have like every time I'm getting something, it's like, it's mint green. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should like look at other colors again. Do other colors exist? I don't even know. Yes, B4 says, but does it have pockets? No, it does not have pockets. But it's not a dress and it's not a pair of pants, so I'm okay with that. But yeah. Oh my gosh, if I could construct pockets that I felt good about, I would be so happy about that. That's a whole nother story. It's been warm. It's really nice right now. It's like in the low 20s here, which I think it's like mid 70s, maybe upper 70s Fahrenheit. And it's gorgeous, like a little light breeze. It's a little cloudy, a little sunny. I mean, it's just like a beautiful day. It's supposed to be like this the whole rest of the week too. It's fantastic. So anyway, but on the warm days, I've been on the hunt for shorts. And what I want, my ideal pair of shorts, is something that is kind of loose, so not super tight fitting. It's like around the knee, but not like lower than the knee, but I don't care if it is or not. And it has like, I like cargo pants is really what I want. And so I want pockets like on the leg, and then I want pockets up at the top. And I want them to zip or button or somehow close in some fashion. That way, if I'm like bicycling or on the bus or whatever, like transitioning from one place to another, I could just throw things in my pockets, close up my pockets, and I don't worry about it. So, you know, when I come home, you know, hours later or whatever, I'm like, I know exactly where my house key is. It's in that pocket that I closed hours ago, right? So that is a whole different thing because, yeah. Anyway. I haven't gotten exactly what I want. Well, I have a pair of pants or shorts that I love, and then I'm not the size. There's more of me than there was before, so they don't fit. They're not. Yeah, they just don't fit right now. So maybe someday they will. I don't know. We'll see. But I've been trying to find shorts to replace them in the meantime because I'm like, I'll just go ahead and buy what fits me. That'd be great. But they're from Kohl's, which is a U.S. store, and they don't have Kohl's here. They have other things that are like similar, but not exactly the same. Anyway, bottom line is I haven't found a pair, so. Yeah. It'll be really funny. It'll probably be like the end of summer and I'll come across something. Be like, that's what I've been looking for. It'll be hilarious. Okay, so let's get into some Lord of the Rings online, shall we? All right, so we are not doing what I was talking about earlier about following the fellowship. Well, not exactly. we are at the Midsummer Festival. So throughout the year, Lord of the Rings Online, they have festivals. And they're little side things that are placed like in the time of the kind of usually early stuff. So like before the Fellowship is set out from Rivendell, or, you know, where there's still some peace in other places. Like, you know, Bree is still having peace, but there's obnoxious people here and there. But, you know, it's not like under siege or anything like that. The Shire is not under siege. Like, everything is peaceful. So that's when the festival times are generally set. So like the hobbits have left the Shire, they're wandering off, but you know, so Lobelia, Sackville Baggins has Bag End. It's usually set in that kind of time frame. Okay, so the difference of this one though is the Midsummer Festival is set after the events of the book have happened. Like the events of Tolkien's the Fellowship of the Ring, whole Lord of the Rings series there. So the ring has been dealt with, and Aragorn has come to Minas Tirith, and he's been crowned, and so now he's getting married, or has just gotten married, and so this is a celebration of that time. That's what's happening in the game for the Midsummer Festival. So it takes place in Minas Tirith, that is set chronologically during Midsummer, which is after, you know, the siege and all of the stuff that happened. So like, you know, there used to be gates. Yeah, let's just close Festival Buddy for the moment. There used to be gates here, you know, and then there was the whole thing with Grond breaking and, you know, causing all sorts of problems here. So for, you know, for part of the rebuilding, they've basically torn that down. They've got an opening so you can come through, and it looks like, you know, they're kind of like in the process of then rebuilding something a little bit more permanent perhaps in the future. So that's kind of where we are from a chronological standpoint in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to participate in this Midsummer Festival, and I am going to use the Festival Buddy, which is a plugin, and it's this darling right here. I'm actually using Festival Buddy 2. There was an original Festival Buddy. It was awesome. The person who created it is no longer maintaining that, and so B4 wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff with Festival Buddy, and said, hey, can I just, you know, take it over and maybe create a new one, and that way they can, you know, he can go in and muck with the code and do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, they were like, yep, fine, go for it, run with it. So so now we have, yeah, Festival Buddy 2, just like I have Travel Window 2. You know, that's a kind of a similar sort of thing that happens in Lord of the Rings Online with plugin development. So I'm going to use Festival Buddy 2. I'm going to use the quick guide that is a part of it. So there's a button here at the bottom that you click called Quick Guide. Just click that and it pops up. And that's this bob right here. Now, I used the Quick Guide last time I ran through the festival here. And so, yeah, I'm just going to scooch this off to the side. So it's blank right now, aside from a thank you to me, because this quick guide that we're about to look at is based on a Midsummer Festival guide that we put together a few years ago, and it's on my website. So he gave me kind of a thanks for that, in case you ever wanted to use the quick guide, but you're like, hey, I'd love to go see the whole thing written out in words, all in one go. You can absolutely, the link is right there. You can go and take a look at it that way. Okay, so because I used the guide last time, this quick guide, everything's checked off. I did everything that was listed. So I'm going to reset it so it's ready to work with me again. So I click reset this quick guide. Boom. All the quests are here, all with an asterisk. Why do I say that? Because I'm going to open up the plugin manager options. I'm going to open the options here for Festival Buddy 2. There's a little gear here in the top corner on the Festival Buddy 2 that you can get to your options menu. And there are things that you can change. So for example, one of the options you have is that when you press the escape key, it closes Festival Buddy. Because like a lot of times I'll have like, you know, inventory up or the map up or like all sorts of various windows. And I'm just like, I just want to clear it all. So I hit the escape key, all those Lotro windows close. Well, it was also closing Festival Buddy. And I'm like, I don't want that. And so before created this toggle where you can say, yes, it closes it when you press the escape key, or it does not. So I have it not checked, I have it unchecked, so it does not. I do have checked, remove completed items from the list. So when I finish something, it's going to check it off and move it off the list. It will give me a delay of 5 seconds, so I get to see what it is, and then it goes away. And you can change that to higher or lower, whatever you want. Now, quests to include in the quick guide. All of them are here that are in Minas Tirith, but I have removed the check mark next to a cure for all ills, because I don't usually do that. You know what, though? We'll go ahead and check that one and honoring healers. Because what I end up doing is, what ends up happening for me is that I will go through and I'll do the stuff on the bottom, and then the next one, the next one, the next one. And by the time I get to the 5th one, I finish up, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I've got my 10 quests. I can turn in my wrapper. I'm good to go. I'm going to move on. So that's usually what I do. But I will go ahead and leave those on, because we could do those together. But if there's things like that where you're like, you know, oh, I hate unhelpful hounds, I hate chasing these dogs around, I'm never going to do this, you know, you can uncheck it and then it disappears from your guide. So like something floral is this top one listed right here. So let me show you. If I uncheck it, look at that, it disappears from my quick guide. It's live. And here, if I re-click it, it shows back up in there. And all of the associated pieces, like go here to put these flowers down, go there to put these flowers down, turn it in. You know, all of those pieces disappear because they're all connected. So that's a really cool little option. I love that. Map options, auto open map, and map directions, north, east, west, south, random. The map options is for the hedge maze? Yeah. For the spring festival? Okay. So that, yeah, so there's already some other things in here for the future, or for other, yeah, festivals too. So Festival Buddy is for a whole bunch of festivals. Like, I don't know if you noticed, there's a drop down here, and Midsummer, you've got Spring, Summer, Harvest Math, Yule, Anniversary, Farmers Fair, Hobnonigans, Midsummer. So there's a lot of stuff in Festival Buddy, and now Festival Buddy too. Pretty neat. Aaron Bart asks, is there a UI button to bring it back if you do close Festival Buddy with the escape key? Yes. So B4 created this little icon. Let me see. I'll put it right there on top of this wall. Do you see over there above my little Hobbit head? Here, let me scoot it. So there you go. See, right above my little Hobbit head, there's a little blue button. And it looks like little blue fireworks going off. It's actually the dwarf candle image. But it's cute because it also looks like fireworks. So that is your button for toggling Festival Buddy open and close. See? I have a tendency to just shove all those things down here below my picture. So you'll see down here I have... You're welcome. Are you amused with my sound effects? So like I have his deed tracker button there. And then now I have his Festival Buddy 2 button there. And then I also have Songbook. And I also usually keep... Well, and then I also have the one on the far corner is the alt inventory. But then I also usually have Poetical that I've been using. I've switched from lyrical to poetical. And so I usually have Poetical down here also with the... with Songbook. So yeah, I keep those kind of underneath my chat bars. It's just an easy place for me to put it. But you can put it wherever you want. That's a lovely thing about those is they are generally draggable in some fashion. You noticed I was able to drag Festival Buddy, you know, around. I could do the same thing with D-Trekker. I can do the same thing with Songbook and with Poetical. You'll notice that when I tried to do that with alt inventory, it doesn't drag. It has a setting in it, I think, which is like, don't move it. Let's see. There's something in the options where I have it set to, you can move it. Maybe it's a shift or yeah, it might just be a shift drag to move that one around. or control drag. It's control drag, it looks like, maybe. So I just have it tucked there. Don't even need to worry about it. It's always in the same place. I'm happy with it in my little corner. Okay. So let's get started. So first thing I like to do is to pick up the wrapper, which is actually the first thing listed here, which is take in celebration of Midsummer from Faileth inside the city stable. Oh, inside the city stables. Outside the city stables. Sorry, my reading comprehension was bad for the moment. All right, so we're gonna pick this up, which is our go do 10 things wrapper. Bum ba bum. And then I have a tendency, and noticed it was there and then it went away. So I have a tendency to go and do the horses next. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. So I pop in here and I pick up the quest, and so it's right here. So notice it's like, take the quest. I have taken the quest. And now it sat there for 5 seconds and then it went away. Aaron Bard says, yep, I have those same buttons moved from where I put them when nothing has rechanged in the window. Or nothing has changed, and had them not move when I resized the window. Any idea why? Well, and then B4 has a great answer because he's a plugin guy. He says each plugin has to write their own logic for managing the icons. So each plugin can have different reasons or new and exciting bugs, as he puts it, for how they move or don't move. Yeah, I do notice that sometimes my things kind of wander a little bit, but in general, they're usually around the same place where I've left them. So I don't have a good answer for each one of those. But yeah, I do notice that when I resize my window, like if I go from full windowed view to, or, you know, when I switch those things, like, let's go to UI settings, right? And is it this one? Oh no, it's under graphics, isn't it? Yeah, right now I'm in full screen, windowed, but if I switch to windowed or full screen, it does move the stuff around. Because because basically, like, you know, sometimes things are like, I exist in this space on your UI, and the way it figures out where that space is, it could be like, you know, like, I exist in this room. Where in this room? Well, I am 5 feet from that wall and 2 feet from that wall. So, and then the walls move, and so then I move, right? Or it's, you know, I'm always this many pixels into this space, which means if the walls move, they squish me or whatever. Like, yeah, all sorts of things can happen. Yeah, and before has probably just said the same thing. As a plugin author, he says, you have to choose between saving where the icon is in pixels, yeah, like down over, or in percentage, 5%, 15% down, and then based on that choice, yeah, resizing your Lotro window will result in different behavior depending on what the plugin developer chose. So some may be like, no, this is always in this space, you know, regardless of your window, and some of them are like, when your window is smaller, move me in accordingly. Okay, so I did the horses, and I'm going to pop up to the high stables, and I'm going to pick up all the quests that are up there. So, when you resolve, you dismount. And we're going to keep curving, so make a hard U-turn there, and up we go. Oh my gosh, yes. Aaron Bard points out that the juxtaposition in the game is so funny because, like, when you're talking to these NPCs, they were, a lot of them built for Minas Tirith, you know, about to be under siege or under siege. And so you'll have things like, you know, you'll have like your festival people who are like dancing in the streets where wine flows like water. And then you'll have somebody else who's like, these are troublesome times indeed.
Could I speak with you a moment?
It just cracks me up. It's like, yeah, okay.
Would you do something for me? Would you do something for me?
Okay, so I've taken those. I'm not picking up lightning in a bottle because that's going to send us out and about. And I actually may have already done it anyway. Maybe I haven't. It's okay. It can wait for another year if I haven't. All right, we're picking up this one, which is, there we go, little green bar. I do like the green bar, how it highlights what it is that I've just done.
Can I help you with something?
It's that way it draws my eye really nicely. Okay, so I've picked up everything up here. And so the next thing on our quick guide is floral crowns. So continue the quest with the florist's daughter. Go to collect, and then go collect 10 summer blossoms. So I want to get back downstairs. And I have, I did go ahead and pick up a milestone, which is something I do recommend over on my quick guide on the website, is that when you're preparing for Minas Tirith, set a milestone to the bottom, because there is a milestone, which is right here. And if you scroll out, you can see it does say milestone at the top. Otherwise, it looks kind of like architecture or something. So anyway, I do recommend that, yeah, you go ahead and set a milestone to there if you can, because that'll get you back here really fast, really easy. And then also, if you are up for it, go ahead and purchase all of the cooldowns so that you get that 5-minute cooldown on your milestones, because that is super handy. Just even in the game, like when you're out questing, having a 5-minute cooldown can be so lovely. You know, you're out, they send you off to go do some things, you go do some things, and then boom, milestone, you're back in the city where you started. It's really handy. So that one is not just something that will help you in the festival, it helps you in the game too. But I understand that it does cost Lotra points, not everybody has Lotra points. And you know, maybe you've already done all this grinding for deeds and you got the Lotra points and you spent them on other things. So I totally get it that you might not have the LP to go and do that. But if you do, recommended. I find it super handy. Yeah, when the stuff is on sale, like when the milestones are on sale, I tend to pick those up. Like I get another 1 or 2 every time until I have them all, basically. And one of the early things I buy on new main characters is I make sure to get the cooldowns on the milestones and the guide to skills and everything. It's really handy. What else? I used to buy recommend that people buy the premium wallet, but now that just is given to everybody, which is so fantastic. So, yes, Aaron Bard says, I guess he doesn't like dancing. These are troublesome times indeed. I must decide whom I will dance and with whom I will not. Skybird UK points out that the ones saying troublesome times are probably having to clean up after the ones drinking the wine like water. Indeed. These are troublesome times indeed. No rest for the weary. Okay, so I picked up 10 things, which it checked off for me, which is fantastic because a lot of times I'll be like just not paying attention. I know, shocking. And I'm like, how many more do I need? And I don't even know. Okay, so the checkered blanket, there's nothing that pops up in the game for it to know from a plugin perspective that you completed that quest. So this is why it does say here, for floral crowns, continue quest with the florist's daughter, craft floral crown. I think it was maybe multiples, but anyway, it says check manually. So we have to actually manually check that off and then it will go away for us. It is kind of handy though, because that way you don't wander off from here without doing that, because it'll stay there until you check it off and you might be like, oh right, I didn't actually do the blanket, did I? Or let me double check that. So yeah, so that one's kind of actually nice that it doesn't check itself off in the sense of making sure that you do it. So let's see. Yeah, Sandy says can't play without the 5-minute cooldown. I know, it's so handy, isn't it? All right, so the next one is go to the soldier's tier, so we do that. Let's see. Agarther says, I've also incorporated milestones into my fast route. Why not? Everyone has at least one milestone. And that's very true, right? And if you have a house, then you have travel to your house. So for example, let me pull up, oh, not that one, this. Under my skills, I should have, let's collapse that. Travel skills. So I have travel to personal house because I have a personal house. I have a travel to premium house because I have a premium house. Not everybody has one of those, but you know, that's another travel skill you can utilize. If you are in a kinship and your kinship is at least 3 months old and owns a kin house, then the travel to kinship house button will be available. And with those same parameters then, kinship's at least 3 months old and has a kin house, the travel to kinship member's house button is also something that you have. So if you have a house and you're in a kinship that has a kin house, you have travel to personal house, travel to kinship house, travel to kinship member's house. So that's 3 additional travel skills as well as your initial milestone skill. So you've got 4 travel skills that you can use to get around and get back and forth into this midsummer if you want to use those. I went ahead and did the 5-minute cooldown, so I just pop back and forth. It makes it really easy for me. I don't mind. So let's see. Aaron Bard asks, are hunters the only ones who can use guides? So, and Egg Arthur does point out that hunters have guides, which can take others. Wardens have muster, which doesn't have a cooldown, just like the hunters doesn't have a cooldown. But the wardens can't take other people. So the warden can get themselves there. The hunter can get themselves there and take their fellowship. So those are a couple of versions of travel skills that exist based on your class. There are 3 types of travel skills that you can buy cooldowns for. Let me see if I can find this real quick. On the wiki. Because it's super handy to have them. Let's see, travel skills. Because basically, there's 3 overlapping traveling debuffs, or debuffs, or however you want to look at it. What's it called? Oh. What is the cooldown? Let's see. Something Traveller. What are the cooldowns called? There's... Oh, Hurried. Hurried might be one. Yeah, Hurried... Okay, there we go, thank you. So we've got the Hurried Traveller, we have the Expedient Traveller, and we have the Returning Traveller. These are 3 different travel cooldowns that you can acquire in the game. So let me put a link to one of those in the and then the next... Oh, before I did the Hurried one also. Okay, but then there's 2 others, and those are both linked from that page, Expedient Traveller and Returning Traveller. So basically, I went into the wiki and I tidied this up a little bit because, as you noticed, I couldn't remember off the top of my head right now. So every time I was like, what is this? What is the name of that? So they're all 3 tied together, but you purchase each one of them separately. So the Hurried Traveller reduces the cooldown of milestone skills. So anything that is technically a milestone skill, it reduces that cooldown by 30 minutes. And that costs 495 Lotra points regularly. Apparently you can buy it for Mithril coins also. There's the Expedient Traveller, which reduces the cooldown of return to, travel to, and milestone skills by 25 minutes. So you notice if you take the Hurried Traveller, that's 30 minutes. Expedient Traveller, that's an additional 25 minutes. That gets your milestone skills down to 5 minutes. So that's the 2 that you need to get your milestones done. And then, yeah, and then Returning Traveller, as before has posted there, reduces the cooldown on your return to and your travel to skills by 30 minutes. So it's that middle one that works for all of them. But then if you want to get it down to 5 minutes, if you want this one, you've got to buy that, you know, your milestones. And if you want return to and travel to, that's, you need the other one. So it's, so there's 3 skills that basically you want to get overall, if you want to have everything down to 5 minutes, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah, and Cool Witch also points out a fantastic point that I love to tell people about, is Lalias Market in Bree. There's a travel skill that you can get to her. It's a separate travel skill, so it's got its own, it doesn't share a cooldown with like your milestones or anything like that. But it is, you can get it down because it's a, what is it, return to skill? Let me look. it's a return to skill, so return to Lalias Market. So anything that brings down your return to skills, the timer on those, it applies to the Lalias Market one. Anyway, you can buy it at Lalias Market in Bree for 3 mithril coins, and you can get 5 mithril coins for 50 Lotra points normally in the store. So once you get going in the game, after you've done like a couple of deeds, usually Slayer deeds or something, you'll have enough to buy that. And I don't think there's a minimum level on that, like maybe minimum 5 or something. Like, it's fantastic. So that's a fantastic skill to have, and every main character I have, I absolutely use it on. Whee! Landed on the barrels. Let's see. What else? Oh yes, SSG. Thank you, Mubat. SSG and the Game Masters will never ask you for your password. So if you are getting any sort of communication where they're asking for your password, it is not them. Let me get this guy. So I'm kind of zipping through here without actually necessarily explaining what I'm doing. So definitely pop up in the chat if you're like, wait, what just happened there? Let's see. And let's see what else we have. So we talked about the Hurried Traveller and all of that. Let's see. Hang on, let me grab this glass of wine and then we'll take a look at Fred Wood's question there. Okay, so this is one of those games of which one doesn't match the picture. This is probably like the most amazing thing in this guide because that's the glass of wine you're looking for. Okay, so the question oh, I see. The question is basically comes down to, is the patch done? Can you play on the servers? You tried to log in, it didn't really work. Yes, the servers are back up. They were down earlier for the patch, so you might have gotten some interesting errors that came up then that were not you at all. It was the fact that the servers were down for the patch. So yeah, you should be able to log back in. And I know you mentioned Europa. Is the patch for Europa done? It's done for all the servers at the same time. So I think they bring them up. I mean, my guess is they kind of like go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like they bring them all back pretty much at the same time. I have not seen any like, obvious situations where you're like, well, they obviously turned that one on at a different time. Like it seems like they all come back on roughly around the same time.
Friend.
Okay, so we finished with Toss a Coin. So yeah, you should be able to get logged in, no problemo. Whee! Yeah, I am also in Europe. I live in the Netherlands. And I play on a whole bunch of different servers. I play on Treebeard, which is not really tied to either type of coding. I play on Crick Hollow, which is in the North American coding. So originally when Lord of the Rings Online was created, it was owned by Turbine, and Turbine had servers in the US and they managed those, and then they had servers in Europe and those were managed by a different group called Codemasters, and so the coding was slightly different between those two sets of servers, but still for the same game. And so the fallout from that is that any servers that were originally managed and created by Codemasters can only talk to, like, if a character if you want to transfer a character from one server to another, you can only transfer within that group. And then the same thing with those that were the North American group, the ones that were done by Turbine in the US. So there's still basically some coding in there that doesn't allow characters to move from one of the piles to the other pile.
How may I help you, friend?
But I play on both kinds. Like I play on European servers, and I play, thanks Andy, on North American servers and European servers. And I don't see any difference. Like I know there's people that are like, you know, the lag is different here, the lag is different there. I don't see any difference. It all comes about the same for me, which is very little lag, thankfully. We have pretty good internet and we've got pretty good computers now. When I was on a laptop and playing, I did experience a little bit more lag than I do now. So getting a better updated computer definitely has made a difference.
Hello there.
Hey, real quick, I just want to show you all a trick on this one. This one helpful trick will make your Lotro experience better. The unhelpful hound that has the ring will come by here as if he's like taunting her. And before noticed that it's one of the ones that runs around and tends to go in general in a clockwise pattern. So even though they might double back on themselves a little bit, they'll work their way clockwise and eventually come over here. So it's not going to be this one because this guy is obviously going counterclockwise. So it's not going to be that guy. It's going to be, I think, Scoochie. It's not that one. He's too slow. I'm pretty sure it's going to be that one. That's probably the one I got the ring from. And I just did it, sorry, so it's already done. But see how he's kind of moving, you know, back and forth, whatever. He's taking his time about it. But I'm pretty sure that's the one we got the ring from because notice that he is kind of moving in a clockwise-esque formation. So anyway, there's a little trick for you on the unhelpful hounds. Yay. Let's see. Thank you before. I did not realize because Friedwood was asking, basically said, I have a question for my beloved community. The new update patch for Europa done, and was getting the error message Amendel server. On Melde server. Which basically, before figures out it's in Dutch. Oh. Oh, Egg Arthur was thinking it was, no, it just says login server. I don't see the words in German. It's okay, no worries. Anyway, so yeah, so they were obviously getting it in another language, so that's cool that you all figured it out. In another language than English, I should say. Aaron Bard says, I was on a different server and the horses sounded more realistic. That's weird. It should be the same. But that's a funny idea. Okay, so there's some stuff I could do here, but I'm not gonna worry about it because I haven't actually crafted any of those things. Oh, we could go ahead and pick up this honoring healers though while we're here.
Will you give me a moment of your
Sure, my
time,
dude.
friend?
We will pick that up because we'll probably go and do that. Which server is that referencing? I'm curious. I wonder if it's the same in both Dutch and German because interestingly, we do find that there's some crossover of either words or words that are really super similar between Dutch and German. The languages are different, absolutely different, but there's definitely times when, like, somebody's, like if I'm watching a YouTube video and somebody's talking about something in Germany, or they'll say something in German, you know, because they're referencing something. And I'm like, oh, I kind of understood that. So, I don't know. There's enough crossover that I get some of it, you know? Back on the lag comment, before, it does point out that the term lag covers a bunch of different problems. Like, you know, why are you seeing a slowdown on your side? Well, it could be your computer. It could be your network connection. It could be their servers. I think by there you mean SSG. Could be something else completely. Yeah. Yeah, figuring out what specifically is the trouble can definitely take some effort. And so that's one of the things I know SSG is working on, because like identifying when somebody has lag, where is that coming from, right? Like, and if it's SSG related, what can they do about that, right? So I know that's something they're definitely working on, and they're doing it. Severlin was recently on Court of the Rings, which Court of the Rings is a show here on this channel on Fridays at noon Eastern time. And Cordovan is the SSG community manager, and so he will talk about, you know, news things and share things with the community that he can. And so he had Severlin on, who's the executive producer, and they were talking about stuff. And there's some things that came up before, like Sev had mentioned they were going to do like some visual updates. Visual is not the right word, but graphical updates. And people are like, hey, when is that coming? And he said, well, it's actually in progress. Like everything is happening. Basically the way they're doing it is they're doing it instead of doing like one giant one and having it be just like jarring all at the same time, they're doing little bits
These are troublesome
here and
times
there.
indeed.
So like if they can update, you know, this, whatever, you know, insert project here, then they work on that. And like with the update to the race of man, how you can now change so many different things about those characters. Like when you're creating a race of man character, you've got like sliders and so many different options and everything. Instead of waiting, right, and rolling that out for all the different character classes or races, like they went ahead and did, you know, race of man, finished it, turned it in, move on, right? So, yeah, so that's the kind of way they're kind of focusing right now, which
These
is
are
a
troublesome times indeed.
different, how did he put it? Not mode, but not philosophy. That's not the word either. But basically, it's a different way of operating than what they had initially said, which was, we're gonna do this big thing, ka-chunk, you know. And instead, they're doing the big thing, but they're doing it like this piece, and that piece, and that piece, and then that piece, and that piece, and that piece. And so they're doing it, yeah, in pieces, which, I mean, I'm fine with that too. It's just not as exciting if you're like, yeah, I mean, it's so Lotro, isn't it? It's something that improves the game, and people are happy with it, and yet it's not so easy to like publicize or make it big and exciting. Like you're not going to have, I don't know, like it's not going to be like trending across Twitter, you know, like, oh my gosh, Lotro has made the race of man look better, like, as opposed to like Lotro updated every character in the game, you know, every character race. Like, yeah, it's a different scope, and so it's not as flashy, but yet it's so many cool little quality of life improvements. So I'm pleased. I just, you know, want to make sure that people are like, hey, things are happening. Hopefully you're seeing some of it. Oh, and then before is saying a little bit too much in the weeds of details, but the client language determines which error you see, not the server you try to log into. So if you're running on a German client, but you're logging into a North America server, yeah, you'll get the German stuff. Yeah, not a North American English stuff. It's like, yeah, you get the error message based on the language, which is, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, it keeps it consistent for you as a user. It's just smart way to do it. Let's see, Aaron Bard asks, are they simplifying shadow rendering to try and help with lag? Saw a dwarf during a dance put his hands behind his back, and he looked like someone had painted him gray under the arms. Oh, interesting. I don't know. That could have been a rendering mistake. It could have been on purpose. It sounds like it was not on purpose, though. Another thing is, or has it always been that way and you never noticed? So one thing you can also check is, not in your social tab, in your, there we are, in your options, which is Control O is the default. So that's what I just did. And under your graphics quality, you could change it to be like high. So like I could put mine in ultra high and accept that. And then it should render any detail that it can, right? Whereas when I was streaming before and I was on my laptop, if I tried to do this at ultra high, it was too much. My laptop could not handle that much processing while streaming and recording the stream, right? It was just like, no. Like I had to close every, you know, other tab that I possibly had on open, like, yeah. Whereas, you know, with our newer computers, it can handle it. So it's possible that you might have your graphics set on a lower setting, and so therefore it can't render, you know, that shadow for some reason, or won't try to, you know, in order to stay within that range of graphical settings. It could be any number of things, really. I don't, as far as I know, Sev didn't mention anything about changing shadowing that I remember. But you know what? The videos are out there, and you can always go back and rewatch what they had to say, which is really nice. Before says, I didn't see anything in the patch notes about shadowing. He says, but every time they change something, there's always a chance for a bug to creep in, so it might not be intentional. Agartha says, maybe the dwarf needs some antiperspirant. I like it. Aaron Bart asks, would Ultra High get rid of the lens flare effect? I would expect it would make it worse, wouldn't it? You'd get more. I know that Ultra High... Hang on, let me go drop this off to Warlock. Soldier's tier, right? I get post-processing effects. Ultra High comes with post-processing effects. So, like, if you're doing, you know, something like the In League or the Ale Association, you know, you get that look, that, you know, on your screen and all of that stuff. Oh, that's nice. That's what the current outfit looks like. The new concert outfit looks like on an elf. I don't play elves that often these days, so, you know, I only see it on the short people. Back to the players tier. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go give lofty people food. Bum, ba, bum, ba, ba. Hi-yo, silver. Look at that. Look at that palmetto horse. That's pretty. It's interesting. I don't think about horses much because I grew up in the city, and I mean, it wasn't a big city, but it was a city, and never spent a lot of time with horses as I was growing up. But we've had a couple of times recently where I've had people talking about horses, you know, in a very comfortable fashion, like, "Hey, I gotta go feed my horses," or "Hey, I'm going to be out of town and, you know, I need someone to look after my horses." And then the person who's looking after the horses is another friend of mine, and she's like, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna go over and take care of this person's horses." Like, all you people know all these, like, are just really familiar with horses. Everybody asks, I wonder if they can make lens flare optional and still keep ultra high graphics. You'll have to point out if I get lens flare on here, because I don't know that I see it that often. So point it out if you see it. I'm curious. All right, we are going to go ahead and do the cloudy heads. And with the cloudy heads, I tend to go in a circular formation. I go counterclockwise. So we have Holler standing here. That's so funny because usually I find Paula first. Oops. Yeah, let me do that again. I've moved. Usually she's standing like right there, or she's standing like on that little balcony that we just came from. All right, Robo's over there, but I don't want to just run to him from up there because I need to find Paula. So F10 will get you a person. There we go. There she is. And so if you use F10 and you use Shift F10. Oh, hey. Oh, I forgot to show you what I was going to do. Okay, so we found Paula. Let's check her off. All right, we're going to do Robo. Or Robbo. We're going to check him off. So these you have to check off manually. And the reason it does it, even though he says, like, is it time already? The show must go on. He's probably the only one who says that. You know, I think they each have unique things that they say. But if other people are here, it will show up in the area chat. And therefore, it might check it off for you, even though you haven't done it because somebody else did it. But the nice thing is it is in your area chat. So the first person I talked to was Holler, and that is still there because nobody else is around. So I'm the only person who talked to Holler recently. So that was convenient because I forgot who I talked to. All right, so let's see. Oh, we need Froki. I just walked by Froki. Did I? Where is he? Oh, hey, here's Froki. Hey, bud. I need you backstage. Okay. So we just did Froki, so we just need Danar and Gord. Okay, sweet. Danar is always back here, and she might be sitting here. So we're gonna talk to her here. And she could be back there, and she usually says something like, it seems that you may be the one who was lost, friend. Or, I am backstage, yes? Things like that. I'm just looking at something that the cats might be getting into. Well, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're looking for Gord, and he's usually in this area. There he is. And he's, yeah, oftentimes he's back here regaling this oh so interested looking table of people with a story, as you can see. All right, so because it did say 6 out of 6 though, it knows, okay, you've done it, you've found all your people, so it will check the rest of them off. Even though you noticed I didn't mark off Danar, I didn't mark off Gord, it goes ahead and does it for me, which is really cool. What's next? Oops, what's next is me not moving so fast. Aaron Board says, horses are fascinating. I had the privilege of being owned by a few. And lens flare usually happens when the sun is lower than the noon, so morning or afternoon as you pan across the path of sunlight. So we'll see if I can recreate that. Okay, so we're ready to go. Oh, we forgot to check off that we gave the morsels to those dudes. Turn in something misplaced, something blue. Kabam, done. All right, so now we want to take the milestone. So this is usually where I'm like, peace out. I've done my 10. I'm out of here. So we're going to follow the rest of this in a way that I usually don't. So here we go. So take the stable master to high stables. Well, first we're going to port down. It's a little bit windy today, and so like the doors are, you know, wafting back and forth. So I'm also keeping an eye on that because earlier, so I have like a tennis shoe like propped in the door so it doesn't go kathunk. But earlier, apparently it got moved. I didn't notice it had been moved. And I was upstairs and the wind was flowing like the water flowing like wine. And the door went ka-chunk and closed all the way up. It's like, oopsie. Okay, so I went to the high stables and now I'm going to go to the House of Healing High Hall because there's a couple of options here. Let's see, that's not one. That's not it. Maybe I passed it. This is why I generally don't do these, because I always get the doors mixed up. Okay, this is Houses of Healing High Hall. Say that 5 times fast. And we want to get the quest from Eorlith. Now, we're in this space and we're like kind of at the bottom here. And so it does make a circle all the way around. So you can just, you know, go around and around and around if you really want to. My ideal situation is I get it done before I get halfway around, because then I don't have to go any further, but, you know. Now these bottles will come back, right? Yeah. And the people, the noisy revelers, also refresh. So you can, you know, if you, like, wait long enough. But the whole idea is that you don't want to wait, right? You want to get it done. So, but we're going to get rid of these half-emptied bottles. So, in one of my past lives, I worked at the Ren Fair in the US. And I became friends with the knights who do the jousting. And if you've ever been to the Ren Fair, you may know that they have generally will have live horses that they are riding as part of the jousting that they do. Now, there's a couple of different ways that jousting might happen. Some Ren Fairs have, like, it's very scripted, and so the horses and the knights are just kind of going through the motions of a you know, something that's already been scripted. Which, I mean, it's fine, whatever. And then others will have it so that they are actually hitting each other, and, you know, who falls off isn't necessarily scripted. They really are, like, whacking on each other. But anyway, but there's still some scripting involved, right? Like, because you got to make sure people are safe. And so, you know, they're wearing armor. Hopefully the horses are wearing armor. Like, you want to make sure people are safe and the animals are safe and stuff like that. So that was always interesting. Let's see. Oh, we got more Reveller. Have we finished with the Revelers? Let's see. How many do I have left here? Are we ready? Oh, yes. Cure for all ills. Talk to Iora. That's awesome. Enforcerug says, I train jousting horses here in Oregon for show jousting and competitive jousting. Awesome. So you can also provide some insight into that. Yeah, so like, for example, Aaron Bard has the question, did they use breakable lances? Or do you use breakable lances, your folks? I know lances would often break, but they weren't necessarily, like, intended to come apart. Like, that sort of thing. The group that I was hanging out with the most, yeah, they actually, like... Now, it may have been maybe not as hard as original stuff would have been. Oh, hang on, before I talk about that. Okay, so now we're doing honoring healers. And so there's this pathway. He's before created a map up there above me of the different healers and the paths they take. So like there's one that comes into the middle and then kind of wanders off, and so forth. So you can use this map to kind of help you in general figure out where you need to go. Now, it doesn't mark off which healer you've met when you do this, but it can help you perhaps find your way around. So like this healer right here is the green dot. They're never in a different position. They're always right here. So for example.
Hail, friend, and well met.
Egg Arthur says Nerf material lances. Boing. That's awesome. They did not use Nerf material. Yeah, one of the guys, like,
Greetings,
big
friend.
muscles, and he would often have like all these bruises on his shoulder from, you know, where they're hitting each other with the lances. It was really cool though, because they would do like kind of a education as well of like explaining, you know, the different kinds of jousting, like, you know, jousting like this or jousting crosswise, and you know, they have all different names and stuff. So it was cool that I really, that was really neat. But anyway, so they would, the group that I spent most time, which was in Ohio, and they had the horses, they had like a barn and a large, I forgot the word, but like the field, like where the horses can hang out and eat and, you know, wander around, do whatever they want. I'm missing one. Oh, he's over here. And then when they would go to do the show, they would, you know, get the horses all dressed, get themselves all dressed, and ride them slowly, like parade style, through the Ren Fair from like one of the back entrances into the fair, and then like through the fair, through a certain area, and then to by the jousting arena where there was some like kind of mini stables. So the people couldn't just like walk over and like, you know, start touching your horse, but the horses were there and accessible then and ready for the show. And so you had like a mini space there, but then they had the larger stables further back. And so, so because of my friendship with those guys, I did spend a lot more time with the horses than I ever had previously in my life. And that was quite fascinating. And I got to really understand like horses' personalities and how they're very, very different from each other. And like, yeah, I guess, you know, it helped me learn more about like how horses aren't a monolith, like they aren't all the same. And I mean, like instinctively, I should have known that. Like I've known cats forever, and you know, same thing with cats, right? Like they're all different. But I hadn't spent time with horses, and so to me, they were just like these big, scary animals. And so it was neat to really get to know the horses' personalities and, yeah, and spend time with them. So that was really, really cool. But I would not say that I have been in a position where I've like cared for a horse. Like I wasn't feeding them, I wasn't cleaning after them. Like they were very specific rules about who could interact with the horses and in what way, you know, for everybody's protection. So, but one of the guys had a dog, and the dog wasn't allowed to come through the festival, but we could have the dog back with the horses next to the next to the jousting arena. So when they would walk when they would walk the horses through, then I would take the dog and walk the dog around the back
Can you help me with something?
and meet them over there. So that was really funny. Oh, I have a notebook over there that is of questionable quality. It may be this. So is it on the floor? Is there a notebook on the floor over there? Can it be elsewhere? Because I'll just explain later. Yeah. Thank you. I don't want the cats tearing it up. And they might do so. It probably smells like cat. Anyway, okay, so Enforcer says there are basically 3 types of jousting done today. Awesome. Yay, it's good to have somebody with a little more knowledge. So, show, which is scripted. Solid lance with the intent... Oh, sorry, show, which is scripted. There's solid lance, where the intent is to unhorse the rider. And then there's frangible tip jousting, where the goal is to break the lance, and they are scored to break easily. Nice. I know that the group I hung out with was not scripted because they kind of like looked down a little bit on those guys. And I'm pretty sure Colorado, which was my home fair, was potentially all scripted because I remember they were mainly pretty boys, and I'm like, there's no way you could wear all that, you know, makeup or whatever. Well, if you were actually out there jousting. And they had like microphones and oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Of like, yeah, your stuff would just get damaged all to heck, but I don't know, maybe technology's changed and stuff too. I haven't been in a while either. It's so weird. It's really weird going to a Ren Fair now because it's like, yeah, it's just, how to describe it? I've seen, not just, before it's like saying, you've seen behind the curtain. It's not just that. It's also like if you live somewhere, like say you grow up somewhere and then you leave and the place exists in your mind in a certain way, and like the colors are a certain way and the buildings are a certain way and the people are a certain way, right? And when you go back, you are expecting to step back into that picture. And the more time has passed, the weirder it is in a way, because it's like, or there's for me, I found there's like that middle point where it's like you've been away long enough for things to have changed, but not long enough for things to have changed so dramatically that it's a completely different place. Like it still has elements of what you remember, but it's also like new. It's like, because people don't stay static, right? You're gone. And things change, relationships with people, you know, people have new friendships, they have, you know, new houses, new clothing, whatever, like things change. And so you come back and you're like expecting that picture to still be there. And it's like part of the picture is there, part of it's not. And where you used to fit into that picture isn't the same because you're not there. You're not participating in that, you know, in that living drawing every day. And so it just has this really surreal quality to it, to me, of stepping back into a place. So going to a Ren Fair for me is really weird, especially ones that I've known, because it's like some of the same shops are still there and some of them aren't. There's some of the same elements, but there's also these different elements. And there'll be elements that are like beloved, like everybody is just like, oh yeah, you know, we go do so-and-so, we go watch this, that, whatever. And you're like, I've never heard of these people. And you're like, and this is my fair, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just such a weird disconnect in a way. And so yeah, so I don't tend to go back to Ren Fairs often, well also because I'm in Europe now, but even when I was still in the US, I didn't go back for a long time just because it's just such an odd place to go if you're not still continuing to go on a regular basis after it's been such a huge part of your life. That's what I mean. Okay, so what we have left in the quick guide is we need to turn in Celebration of Midsummer to Faileth once we have 10. We need to turn in Honoring Healers to the Postmaster. We need to turn in something floral to Marilyn up on top. So we have stuff to turn in up on the top. So that what I tend to do then is find the nearest stable master, or port myself down, which I probably should have just done. But we'll take a tour of Midsummer because it's beautiful. Minas Tirith Midsummer is very beautiful. So yeah. Yes, Aaron Bard says horsenalities, for all the different horse personalities. Also, Aaron Bard says, B4, thank you for that map. I got stuck trying to find that last healer, and she was standing on the bed in one of the little rooms. Oh, I'm at the high stables. I think it is you that is lost, yes? Oh, Coolwitch says Arizona jousting is all scripted too. I think it's the same group that does Arizona and then Colorado. So there's like a circuit, a little behind the scenes for those of you who are, well, I should say 20 years ago or whatever. I'm dating myself a little bit there. But there used to be a circuit, and probably still is, where basically you'd have like, festivals tend to run over 8-ish weeks, so 2 months basically. And so you'd have festivals that would run like, let me think, so June, July, which means May, April. So yeah, so like a March, April, May kind of time frame. So like say April, May. And then like the next group would be June, July. And then the next group would be like August, September, October. And so it's like you would book yourself to work this one of the ones that was in the spring time. And then you would book yourself to work one of the next ones. And then you book yourself to work one of the next ones. And so you just work the circuit as you'd go around, basically. And so I think Arizona was before Colorado, was like the time frame right before Colorado. So there were a lot of people that would do Arizona and then they would do Colorado. And plus regionally it's nearby, so travel's not far. Because that's the other thing, is you got people like living out of their cars basically, going from one to another, and that's so if you can have less distance to travel, that's always nice.
Greetings,
as opposed to like, I don't know, working California and then having to go to like Florida or something. Like that's a long drive. I mean, not that you're doing it every day, like you just do it once to get there, but still. Okay, so we've turned in everything except for the wrapper down on the bottom. So let's do that. And then also honoring healers. So boom, there we go. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? Inforge says, I was a regular performer at the Arizona Ren Fair for the first 6 years of its existence. That is a long time ago now. Right now I'm kind of curious, when did Arizona start? Yeah. I don't know if you had Terry Foy, Zilch the Gravedigger, if you were around during his time with his spoonerisms. He's one of my all-time favorites. I think he was fantastic. So I don't think he's still doing fair, but he might be. I don't know. It'd be a long time ago. Also. So let's see. Borking is asking for some help. Let's see. Says, hello everyone, so I'm trying to complete the Allegiance Quest Chapter 4, The Wandering and the Lost, but it doesn't tell me where to go or who to talk to. You've been to the local Lotro wiki page. Thank you. And it tells me to go to Haldir at the Court of Lothlorien, but there's no quest there. Besides the first 3 chapters, are there any other quests I need to complete before continuing with this quest? Mary Lady says, I think you need to earn a certain amount of allegiance to unlock the different chapters. But Telerian says, if you got the reminder in your inventory, Haldir should be in the Allegiance Hall to progress or accept the quest. Let's see, Borkingal says, I already claimed chapter 15 for that allegiance, but still nothing. I went to the Allegiance Hall, but there's no missions for me. Okay, so yeah, it looks like you guys are workshopping this. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you on that, but obviously that's something that we could keep an eye on when we get to that point and update the wiki. Oh, Coolwitch says Zilch rocks. I first saw him at Minnesota Renfest. Yes, he's so good. Oh, and who is the guy? Hang on, my brain just stopped. He passed away, but let me see. No, not that. No, not that. It's adding extra words. I'm like, that is not what I'm asking for. he used to do, it was one of the singers, and you won't know. He did, although we do have it in some of our stuff, but he did, he would take like old traditional Italian and stuff like that, and then perform it for Ren Fair. One of his albums was Sweet Was the Song, and why can I just like totally forget? No, I don't think Zilch is gone. I think Terry Foy is still around. No, I'm thinking of. Anyway, he did one that was Fuji Fuji Fuji, and so it's all in Italian, and then he did another version which was Fudgy Fudgy Fudgy, just to be silly, and yeah. Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, he did. What did he do? Did he do Colorado or Ohio? He did Colorado. Yeah, he did Colorado Fair. Maybe. I can't remember where else he went. But anyway, I will remember the name because his stuff out there is beautiful. At some point. I know. I'm like trying to remember like what kind of keywords can I think we have one. One of the one of his albums in our stuff. Let's see. Owain Phyfe. That was his name. All right, so let me see if I can grab his name. Come on, let me copy and paste. He was really amazing. And he's the one that's passed away. There, that's who we're looking for. Yay! Okay, so let's see. We finished with Phaleth. We did a whole bunch of stuff. We still have to turn in Honoring Healers, but honestly, I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to turn it in tomorrow, and that'll count for one of my 10. So, boom, that's easy. Let's see. We've still got like another 40 minutes though. So I am thinking that what we can do is I will take you to where there are other Midsummer quests that you can do. They are, let's start with Bree. Let's go to Bree first. So, because they're in like every festival, those 4 starter areas will have quests related to the festival almost always. I'm trying to think if there's any that they don't. So, and for this festival, there are 2 quests in each of these areas that you can do that are related to the festival. So, first thing we'll do is we're going to pick up the quest. So, Rona Turner is right here, and she's a potter, and her assistant knocked some stuff down, so she's got to make some new potter. So we need to talk to the Tatter, Maud Tatter. We need some new clay, we need some pine logs, and we need some willow boughs. So we have that assignment. Cool, I see that you guys are still working it through in the chat there about helping out Borking. So I hope, yeah, I'm sorry that I don't know allegiances well enough to help out. Oh, if you are wanting to change your difficulty level or get involved with this, this is the guy you want to talk to, and he's located in various places around Middle Earth, but the easiest one to get to is probably the Prancing Pony after you've left the starter areas. And I actually picked up a task from him, which is to go collect tokens of heroism and then turn them into him. So I will go ahead and do that, because you can only do these like once a week. Now, that was Tokens of Heroism. Now there's Tokens of Heroism Tier 2.
Would you do something
so I'll go ahead and pick that one up, which is go collect 20 of them. And can I pick up Tier 3 from him yet? No, not now. Okay, cool. So at least I've got that one. I can work on that. And the other quest for the festival in Bree is inside the Prancing Pony, where we're going to talk to Barlaman Butterbur.
One thing drives out another.
He wants us to pick up stuff laying around on the ground. the abandoned mugs, and get the revelers off the tables. Oh, good. Yeah, Zilch is still performing. Awesome. Thanks, Cool Witch. He's scheduled to be at Minnesota Renfest in August. Oh, wow. So, like, he is older than me. So let's just say he's performing past retirement age, probably. But, like, he always seemed to have such a joy with the stuff that he was doing, you know what I mean? So that's awesome that he's still doing it. Well, if you go see him perform, tell him that somebody from Colorado Ren Fair way back, I mean, this would have been like early 90s, still remembers and appreciates his work. He probably would not remember me. Like, we interacted and stuff. Like, he knew me then, but I don't think he would still remember me now. Anyway. That's so cool. I'm so glad that he's still out there and having a good time. I should probably go online and buy some of his albums or something. Back when I was doing Ren Fair, I was, as most Rennies are, not flush with cash. And did not end up being able to purchase many people's works, unfortunately. I did get... What did I get? Yeah, I got some perfume one time or something. Well, oil. Okay, we finished with Barlowin. We got everything he wanted. So we're going to start working through south. Let's see, talk about missions and stuff. Still trying to figure out what's going on with Borkinga and their mission stuff. Hey, while we're here, I'll show you Lalias Market real quick. And before it says, do you have a cat? Maybe they stepped on your mouse in just the right way. And that's not far-fetched because Kato has been climbing all over his laptop or his keyboard and mouse and everything lately. But yeah, hilarious. So anyway, Lalia's right here. And that's the return to skill that you can buy from her for 3 mithril coins. And so she's right there. And so when you use the skill, it drops you off like right here, basically. So you're like already facing this door and ready to go. Enforcing says, I would say hi too, but I doubt he would remember me, even though I was a regular performer in Arizona. Right. That's so funny, Enforcing. I bet you and I have some overlapping old friend groups. So, oh my gosh, I was talking to somebody this weekend, and she was like, "Yeah, I was talking to so and so, and blah blah blah, and you know, we were doing this, that, and the other," and then she mentioned me being out here in Europe, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know her." She's like, "Wait, what? How do you know her?" It's like, I told her that I have been a part of many different social places over time, and some with, you know, overlapping spaces. So it's just really quite funny because there's a lot of people that I have known in lots of various times and places and stuff. And yeah, I have forgotten more people than I remember. Is unfortunately where we're at this point. Aaron Bard asks, is that the same Lalia that got lost in the Barrow Downs? I think it is. Or I think it's intended to be. I think it's kind of funny because, like, in the Lalia in the Barrow Downs, remember how she loses her cloak? And now there she is selling clothes and stuff. So I think that might be the same, which I think is kind of funny. There we go. Let's see. Oh, so, let's see, I got my Willowbows. So the next things I need are actually north, basically. I mean, there's a little circle of something over here. I think it's the cut pine logs. Basically, we're looking for 6 of those cut pine logs. And, let me scoochy here. Yeah, so I think in each of these areas, so like this one down here, and then this oval here, which is basically 2 next to each other. I think there's like 4 sets of logs in each of those locations, and you need 6. So you're going to have to hit 2 locations. So that's why I usually don't bother with this one, because I'll just do the oval, and I'll do 4 on one side of the river, and then catch the other 2 on the other side of the river. We can have a quick look and see if there's any more in this area, though. I'm using my Shift Tab stuff here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more. Okay, you know what? We're just going to go back to Bree because it's right outside the gate there. Well, just a little bit high, a little bit north of the gate. Borking says, weird, I guess I do not need any more help. Smee and Blog. Yeah, folks that you knew that were part of the traveling circus, that is Ren Fair. Right? It is it's such a circus. It's really funny because you'll have like people who are just, because Ren Fairs are often on the weekends, for, I don't know, for those of you who are like, haven't been or know this subculture. So Ren Fairs are tend to be on the weekends, and like, you know, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. And so you'll have people who live nearby and get a job working at the Ren Fair for the weekend. So like when Sunday comes at the end of the fair and everybody goes outside the gate, there's a thing they do in Colorado where they tell everybody to go outside the gate. Those folks go back to their lives. Like they go to their homes and, you know, their cats and dogs and whatever. And so they have a way of seeing the Ren Fair in that it's kind of like going to a little festival each week, right? That they come and work. And then you have the other people who basically just go Ren Fair to Ren Fair and work that circuit. And like maybe they'll have a booth, you know, at each location, or, you know, whatever it is they're doing that for a living. And so, you know, Sunday, all the local folks leave, but they're still there. And there's usually some sort of a campsite that's close enough by where all those Rennies then live throughout the entire festival. And so it's a really interesting thing, because you get the circuit Rennies that are there then during the week, you know, and they're like raising their kids, and just like all the different day-to-day things are happening, but at this campsite, or, you know, within the, and so they have their own kind of like a social, there's a social connection that happens then with that group of Rennies. It's really fascinating. So I was able to bridge the gap because I stuck around a lot during the week. And it's a different scene, man. I need one more blobble of this stuff. I need some more. Yeah, right. Positive fine clay. There we go. There we go. Yeah, when oh, what's his name? Yes, me, and the whole dead Bob thing took off. That was so funny. So dead Bob is a skeleton. He's dead. But it's really a ventriloquism act. And so you've got dead Bob, and dead Bob is raunchy. I think that's the best way to put it. Like he was doing, anyway, we'll just leave it there. And you never see the ventriloquist guy because he wears like this big burlap outfit, and there's like, the face is covered, but it's covered with like mesh so he can see out. Yeah, so people have been to the Dead Bob show for years and years and years, and it's the same routine. Like I mean, it may have changed now, but like I saw it numerous times and then saw it again like 10 years later, and it was the same routine. But it's good. It's very effective. Because he pulls people out of the audience and, you know, the zombies. Anyway. Oh, we're going to go to the Shire. So quit my yapping here. Let me get us off to the Shire. And so, yeah, so it's really interesting because people have like this whole concept of Dead Bob and what Dead Bob is. And Like, you never meet the guy. Like, you never see him. So, like, yeah, it's really interesting. Because it's really hard to stay anonymous in that kind of world. And yet, he managed to do that, which is pretty tricky. Then you get people like the Insulters and stuff. They're funny. All right, let's see if I can sneak in here. Actually, okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stick flowers, stinky flowers, on that table without being seen by that guy there. But I also just picked up another quest, which is to give invitations. So remember I said there's 2 quests in each of these locations, so this is the 2 quests. The woman I just talked to there, go give invitations to people, and the Hobbit I talked to over here, which is go put stinky flowers on the tables. Oh my gosh, Coach says Dead Bob's routine is still the same. That is so wild. And yet, I mean, it's well written, so why mess with a working thing, right? Like, it's pretty good. Oh, Borking asks a question. Oh no, I've been spotted. I was being too frivolous here. I walked too close to the sun, as it were. I delved too deep, as you might say. Anyway, okay, let me go pick this quest up again. So, all right.
Hello there.
Go put stinky flowers on tables. We can't do it, they'll know we're up to something, but you can do it because you look like you're not up to something. I have an innocent face. Enforcer says, I would spend half the week at the fair and then half at home during the run of the fair. Yeah. At the fair, site was very much a carny environment, right? Like, so much so that I did end up working like the Ohio State Fair one summer. And that's a long, anyway, working at State Fair is a long thing. And yes, there were definitely parallels between those 2 worlds. And the carnies had like a pig Latin, basically, that they taught me at one point. So that was yeah. So they could like talk about the patrons without realizing they were being talked about, stuff like that. Yeah, Carney,
How do you do?
the state fair was definitely different. It had, I don't know, it felt like it almost had like a little bit more of a us versus them feeling to it than Ren Fair does. Because Ren Fair just seemed a little bit more welcoming, and for a new person to like there's definitely I think a part of the people who are on circuit who kind of need to protect that life that they have. But in general, it seemed like they were like, yes, you can come be one of us, you know, that kind of a thing, which is nice. So Borking, anyway, I don't know if I asked this question. Borking says, a question on allegiances, can I join them all and do all the missions? I think so. I don't see anybody answering that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure you can.
Hello there.
Is there only 4? I thought there 5. Did the Zelruka count as as one of the 4? So okay, so what I'm getting stuck up on is before it says he thinks you can only do one of the 4 Mordor allegiances at a time. Hang on, did I get to all the people? Oh no, I missed something. Oh no, I have one more deceptive invitation I need to deliver. Oh, it's the guy on the fence. I always miss the guy on the fence. The enforcing says the Ren crowd on average had a higher education level. Bob got some complaints from the uptight crowd in Arizona. You got to giggle out of it every time. Yeah, I'm saying like Bob was definitely pushing some boundaries. Yeah. I'm amazed that, yeah, you can still get away with that show, actually.
Hello there.
I guess because the people opt into it when they come on stage, like, but there's definitely some not very politically correct stuff in terms of the way that people are maybe treated or talked about. But anyway, neither here nor there. Been a long time since I've been there. Okay, so we've done 2 of the 4 areas. Let's go to Ered Luin and let's see, what do I have? Do I have any milestones to anywhere? Dylan, we'll go there. Sweet. So anyway, back to the allegiances. Okay, so there are 4 Mordor allegiances. And yes, with those you can only do one at a time. But the Zelruka, which is different, which Skybird says, I have Zelruka on my foot, says the Bjorning, scrapes the dwarf off. Is a separate dwarf allegiance that opens with something else because basically over on Treebeard, our server max right now is level 85, so we're not up to Mordor yet, so therefore we don't have access to the Mordor allegiances, but we do have access to the Zelruka stuff, that allegiance set. So that is open, I think, at any level, as opposed to the Mordor stuff, which is available much later. Okay, so to start the one here, there's 2 quests for the elves. One is here, and then one is down the hill at Kellendam. But this is Doolin, so we're going to do this one, and she wants us to go and talk to another elf. So we're going to go do that. And Agarther says that, yes, you can join all of the allegiances, but your allegiance standing only goes up one at a time. If you max out all 4, you get a title, Trusted Ally. So that's neat. Sorry, for those of you who are like not caring about Ren Fair, I apologize for the long ongoing chat about it, but there's just, it's such a unique and odd thing that, I don't know, there's just something about it that creates community, I guess. The Ren Fair stuff does. And so when you find others who know that cultural point, that cultural touch point, it can kind of like be finding like an old friend that you forgot that you had, kind of thing. So anyway, all right, so there we are. Aaron Bard says, something came up in chat the other day about endgame. So once you finish the whole thing, what happens to your character? Does everything reset to 0? No, it does not. So first of all, I don't think you could ever complete everything in the game, or it would take you a long time. Like, even consider this. Like, okay, this is the deed tracker, right? These are all the deeds in the game. So if you were to do every single deed in the game, there's almost, right now, 3,000 deeds to do. That's going to take you a while. And so when people are talking about endgame, I think what they have in their mind is they've done all of the, like the books, right? So they've done the epic volume 1, volume 2, volume, like they've done all those epic books. And they've done like some of the other stuff, like they've done missions. And they've done a lot of the instances. So like, instance finder. So like, you know, you go through the instance finder and they've done all of these at least once. Like they've done every instance that's in the game at least once. And because they're level 140, you know, the highest you can get in the game, they're probably doing the stuff that's level 140 over and over again. So I think that's where the boredom comes for some people, is because they've passed by, like for example, with my character, I'll just pull up my regular, not that one, there we go, my regular deed log. Like if I look at my, let's just look at like Eriador, and let's go to Eredluin. Like I have barely scratched the surface on Eredluin because we've been spending all of our time in Bree and stuff with these characters on Kirkhollow here. So like Elf Ruins exploration, I've seen 1 out of these 5 places, and Places of the Dwarves, I've seen 4 out of these 5 places, and Scouting the Dour Hands, I've seen 1 out of the 4 places, and that's just the deeds that I've even started. Like there's a whole bunch of Slayer deeds and all sorts of other things out here in Eredluin that I haven't even started. But let's say you're level 140. This stuff is like level 5 or level 10 or whatever. So they probably aren't thinking, oh, I'll go back and tidy that up. They're probably like, that is so far below me, I'm not even going to bother. So when people are saying that they've done everything in the game, I really don't believe that they are accurately saying they've done everything in the game. I think they're saying they've done everything that's of interest to them at the level that they're currently at. So my version of what is endgame and other people who are like, hey, I need more stuff to do at endgame, probably are thinking about very different things. Which is a long way to say, when somebody says, when you finish the whole thing, what happens? I want to say, what does that mean, finishing the whole thing? Do you mean finishing the epic line? Do you mean finishing every deed in the game? Do you mean owning all the outfits? Like, but no, your character has gone through everything that your character has gone through and continues to exist. And you get to continue doing things as that character. So, so you'll see people like at level 140 who are doing festival and stuff like that. Yeah, like, yeah, B4 says MMOs are complete when you decide that you're done. There's, it's not like reading a book and you get to the last page and you close it. I mean, for me, these are like, well, okay, they're not living, breathing characters, but they kind of are, to me. Like, I don't think I've ever deleted one of my characters in Lotro yet. I came really close, because I left Brandywine, and I had a couple of characters I wasn't transferring, because it just wasn't worth the Lotro points to do that. And rather than delete them, I left them there. So I have 2 characters on Brandywine just sitting there doing nothing. But if I ever want to attend an event or something like that, they're there, which is, so that's handy for me. Yeah, so you can do what you want with your characters, though. Like, you could absolutely get a character to 140, finish the books and be like, okay, I'm done, and delete the character, like, whatever. Yeah, it's all whatever you want to do.
Greetings to
I can't
you.
delete a character, though. I just can't do it. Skybird says, definition of a spear, a weapon with a peasant at each end. I used to be really into, well, I'm still really into puns. And there was one that was like visual puns, like there was all these visual puns that I thought was good. And one was peasant under glass instead of pheasant under glass. And so I drew like this, you know, guy in rags underneath a glass. So, let's see. Okay, so now we need to deliver the completed hand fasting cords to the original elf that we talked to at the beginning of all this. Yeah, Aaron Bard says, suddenly seeing a Monty Python picture with their shirts over their heads is basically when you find friends who are as crazy as you. Yeah, it is kind of what Ren Fair feels like.
Greetings to you.
But like I said, it's been so long for me that it's a very different thing now. Let's see, that's Thorin's. I don't need to go there. So we do need to go south. So we're going to go ahead and not take the Milestone. We're going to go ahead and take the Stable Master down to Calendum. So we're going to go talk to somebody down there. Yeah, Aaron Bird says, good, see you in the next decade or so. Yeah, we'll still be here doing, I feel like our characters are going to be, you know, doing stuff in-game for a long, long time. Yeah. Let's see. Mara Lily says, owning all the outfits, mounts, pets, and housing items is my end-game goal, to be honest. I was in that mode. However, there are, until they make changes in Lotro, which they might someday, but there are pets and mounts and emotes that I don't know that I could have access to. You know what I mean? Like, let's see, spring. Like, there are things that you can't get because they were available because, oh, like, okay, like, talk about housing items. Like, the little dormouse that you can, so you have, like, little piece of cheese on your floor, and then there's like a little gap in the wall, and the little mouse comes out every so often and has a little bite of the cheese and then runs back in. That was only available through a pre-order. So if nothing changes, I can never own that housing item, which, like, how sad is that, right? because it's a cute little, it's like such an awesome little housing item. Like it's awesome to the point where somebody who we were playing with here in Lotro has been around long enough and had that. And so you get one with every character that you make. And so we were on Treebeard, and he was playing with us for a very short period of time, and then he kind of like stepped away from Lotro for now. But while he was around, he put one of those in either my house or the kin house. I forget. And now I'm like, I can never touch that because I have no way to get that back. And so that is going to be there like forever. Like, and it's going to be really sad when Treebeard shuts down and we have to, oh, I got to go across the river. We have to transfer our characters off because I will lose that little mouse and I'll be really sad because he's super adorable and I love having him in the house. So, yeah. So I'm not like 100% pet mount decoration collector, especially decoration because I just don't have enough storage for all of that. But I am definitely like 100% every pet and mount that I can easily get, and I do count things like not festivity. Oh, speaking of Figments of Splendor, I'm at 9,300. I better get over to Bree again. You know, spending those to get mounts and pets that I can get. I will buy everything I can buy from the Figments vendors, and so I'm still working on that. Although I think my character on Treebeard might have almost all of that by now. The ones that are for mithril coins, like the mounts for mithril coins that you can get from the various festivals, I have not done all of those yet. So I figured that's like a slow progression because mithril coins are not easy to come by, right? Like, so I have to save up for that stuff, I think. That's kind of the way I figure it. Yeah, Enforcer says, I won't be in game for me until I am done decorating houses. And of course, you can never be done decorating houses because there's always some new cool housing decoration that comes out. So you'll never be done. Aaron Bard was saying, well, I was hoping that one gets to continue after you get to endgame. Be a real drag for role-playing folks if their characters vanished at the end. Indeed, that would be very sad. That would be very sad. Oh, it may be getting loud. We'll see. That's fair. The neighbor kids are out. Let's see. I'm missing one beehive. Where did I miss it? Let's pull that off. All right. We'll keep looking. We'll keep looking. I already got that one. Well, I'll just keep circling. It's got to be around here somewhere. I remember that they're always, like, the whole beehives, they're all around the edge of that circle that's drawn on the map. Oh, there we go. Found it. Excellent. Where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, hey, a reminder, speaking of legendary servers, as Moobot has helpfully reminded us, thank you, Moobot, the legendary world of Shadowfax. It has closed, but if you have any characters on Shadowfax still, you are able to transfer them off for free through August 31st. So you've got a couple days of this month and all of next month in August. So, but don't put it off because you don't want to forget, because once it hits September 1st, you are out of luck and those characters are gone forever. So if you have anybody on Shadowfax, make sure you go get it. Let's see. B4 says, you can get a sense of what would happen if you finish the epic book by playing on the legendary server. That's a good point. So for example, for us, before Riders of Rohan came out, so the last one, if you finish the epic line of Rise of Isengard and you turned in the quest to Galadriel and then like nothing happened. And then when the next expansion came out, you get an email. It's like, go talk to Galadriel. You're like, oh, I saw her a couple months ago. Yeah, I know how to find her. And then she sends you off to do the next thing. So yeah, so you've got like that kind of a thing. Yes. Oh, Aaron Bard points out that the Grand Mathams over on Laurelin have the mouse Yeah, we call him George, that you can visit. I know it's just not the same as having him in your own house. That's actually how I knew about him, is because I'm part of that kinship over on Lorelin, and yeah, I love little George. He's so cute. He's so cute, just like our kitty cats. Speaking of, let's go to Thorn's Hall. Are you a dwarf? Are you like a dwarf? You want to come up? You want to come up in my lap? What you want? She's staring at me, but there, okay. You could tell that she wanted some sort of a solid surface, but you couldn't decide which one was the most solid. So here's Kato. Hey, baby. Can you say hi? Wow, Enforcer has 41 houses and counting. I still don't have all the decoration items. Yes, the hobbits are partying in your house. Let's see. We have a person chat, Spundot. Let's see. I played this when it first came out. I was a pre-order person. Wow. So I wonder if I have the Dormouse. I think it was the pre-order for, oh gosh, no, I don't remember. One of the early ones. And you've been thinking of checking it out again, so you're enjoying the stream. Thanks. Oh, good. Yay. Well, we are here every Tuesday. I'm here for like 2-ish hours this time of day. And then when I'm done, I throw it over to my sweetie, who does plugin development. So I'm still in the chat and around. So if you jump back in, absolutely feel free to ask questions or any help that you need with stuff. We're here, so we're happy to help get you back on track. Okay, so there's 2 quests that you can do for the dwarves up here. One of them, and I pointed this out last week, thanks to Aaron Bard for reminding me where to find this, is way the heck out here. So we're going to go and say hi. So let's see. Yeah, A. Arthur says the idea for a Lotro-themed restaurant, the Rice of Isengard. I would totally go there because I eat a lot of rice. I like rice. I'm also celiac, so I don't eat much bread because bread is not working for me. I thought this was the guy. Did I miss something? I thought this was the person that you talk to who sends you on a quest. Anyway, there's a quest somewhere out here. Gosh, I really thought that was the person. And they want you to go out and collect things so people can make presents. And yeah, you got to go off to like one of the mines nearby. And I'm like, I'm not going to bother to do that. Oh, I picked it up and I didn't finish it last time. That's why. More precious than mithril. You're right. I picked it up and forgot to. So that is the guy. So this is the guy you go talk to, and he sends you off to go do a bunch of stuff. And it's this collection of things. So 2 chunks of silver ore, crude sapphires, piles of sand, suitable bones, and then you come back and he makes presents out of all that. But we're gonna go do the unkempt dwarfs because that is actually kind of fun one. So yes, thanks y'all. I do have the quest in my log, as you figured out. At least I remembered to go to the right person. Let's see. Oh, Enforcer says, if anyone would like to tour my houses, I'm over on Gladden. Nice.
Welcome.
Okay, so this guy, he's our barber, and he is shining the dwarf's beards. So we're shining this guy's beard, and then look, he's gonna be all sparkly. Look at that, he's all shiny and kind of, yeah, he's all shiny and sparkly, ready to go. So that's what you're doing, and then you make this really cute, like, emote at him. So check out this emote that I'm doing, if I can. It's very funny. Like this one cracks me up. This is one of the earlier ones that I did because when this festival came out, so that would have been 2020, because I was still playing an elf then. I think it must have been Tide. It's been Tide Haste, because I have screenshots of my elf doing this, and it cracks me up. So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't currently have any characters on Gladden, but I have like 13 currently on Treebeard, I think. So in 5 years, when Treebeard closes down, we were already discussing like where are we going to send our characters, because I don't have like 13 spaces on any server right now. So I think what I'm going to do is pepper them around and do like, hi baby, do, you know, a couple over here, a couple over there and stuff like that. And basically send characters to servers that I'm not on anymore. Or not on at all yet, that I haven't gotten to yet. So like even the German servers and the French server and all of that. Oh hey, I finished a deed for the love of Midsummer Final. Complete 120 Midsummer quests in Minas Tirith and across Middle Earth. And I got the title Merrymaker. Doesn't that also give me the thingy bubble? Let's see. Firecracker. Yeah, I'll take Merrymaker. That's a good one. That's cute. And yeah, I got the Midsummer frame. So let me see. What am I doing here? What am I doing wrong? I should have gotten the Midsummer frame. So let me close Festival, buddy. Oh, I know what I might have to do. What is that thing called again? Something I think on the portrait. UI settings. 3D portrait. So when I switched my settings, do you remember back earlier in how I put my settings onto like ultra high graphics? One of them is 3D object portraits. I'm going to uncheck that because I'm using a plugin or UI skin, and it has a bug where it can't work with the portraits. And so I don't know if you noticed, but I was trying to right click on that portrait to bring up this menu, which is things like toggle UI. Like allegiance progress display, landscape, soldier vitals, and the other one is custom character portraits, which I should now have I have the Heart of the Mountain frame. That one's a nice one too, actually. It's very pretty. But it won't let you click in there because it interferes with it. It's a bug of that UI skin. So there we go. There's the Midsummer portrait frame. It's all flowery. It's very cute. But you'll notice there's no picture of my head in there. It's just flower stuff. So okay. Let's see. What we doing? Okay, so we did the 2 quests down for the elves. We did the 2 quests in Bree. We did the 2 quests in the Shire. And then we did one of the 2 up here. Here, I'll go step outside so I can kind of show where we're going. Yes, now I have the super flowery portrait frame, which you are correct. Or Egg Arthur. And Force says, I will be happy to facilitate your move to Gladden, assuming I'm still alive. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, like I said, it'll be like in 5 years or something like that. It'll be a little while. Yes, before it says talk about long-term planning. Oh, and Egg Arthur points out that the beard shining quest can be done in parallel somewhat with the covert reparations for the in-league. Oh my gosh, that's a whole separate thing. We haven't done any of that. That's a future goals kind of thing, is to show on video. It would be kind of fun to show how you can do, like, how do you do the in-league and the Ale Association in parallel, just to get started. Now, we have done videos on how to do the different factions. You can deliver stuff to them and get reputation. So you deliver drinks to the in-league and you get reputation, and you deliver drinks to the Ale Association and you get reputation. So that's, we do have videos of that out there on the YouTubes, I think. It's interesting. I thought the bones were these guys, but I guess not. They're not showing us that. So, how about you? Do you have bones? No, you're just a goblin. Let's just get rid of you anyway. Oh, apparently these guys are tougher than I thought. Oh, because I'm on. I forgot that I'm on the harder difficulty. Let's see. Before says that bug with the 3D portrait can be addressed by editing the skin file, so you have heard. And turning off 3D portrait, which is what I did. I just turned off the 3D portrait. So, but yeah, when I move to when I put some people on Gladden, I will definitely. Well, I mean, if I'm still streaming, then it'll come up on stream, I'm sure. So we can definitely figure out where my people are gonna go and who they're gonna hang out with. Oops, I gotta keep facing. Man, that's slow. Okay, so I've got my 2 chunks of silver ore. So you can see why I don't do this one for the dwarves very often, because my goodness. You want me to go where and do what? Like, come on. Cool Witch says, I need to find time to get back on Treebeard. Well, hey, if you want to get over to Treebeard, first of all, we have a kinship there, as you probably can guess. But also, we're having a party this Saturday, this coming Saturday, because Treebeard is turning 2 years old this coming Friday. So I went ahead and scheduled on Saturday at noon server time. We're gonna do music and giveaways, and then we'll play freeze tag over on Treebeard. So you want to come around to the Breeland Festival area. All right, what am I missing for these people? Oh, I need to collect suitable bones. Can I just jump out of here? No. Wait, is there a exit over here? I don't think there is. I have to run back out, don't I? Will Treebeard himself be there? I wish. I mean, we sent him an invitation, you know. But you know how slow they walk. Maybe a while. Maybe he'll be there for like, you know, the next one like in 5 years.
Probably the 3rd year.
The 3rd year. He'll...
You could do it in the Eves of Fangorn.
You know, I've thought about that. So I've thought about we could go to where Treebeard is once we have like the Eves of Fangorn available to us. That might be kind of fun. My thing is, the reason I scheduled it for the Breeland Festival grounds is because I wanted it to be somewhere where anybody could get to it. Because I thought we could do it in Isengard. I thought that would have been kind of fun. But I thought, you know what, not everybody has Isengard unlocked, and you know that'd be kind of harsh to do it someplace where people can't get to. So we're doing it at Breeland for now, and yeah, maybe we'll do some other Treebeardy thing with Treebeard in the future. That'd be kind of fun. Oh, cool. So before posted the link in the chat there. There's information on the forums, but it's pretty much what I just said. So there you go. Aaron Bard says, talk to a lore master. Here they have connections. What, to Treebeard? Maybe they can talk him into coming. Okay, so who's got these bones that I'm looking for? What am I looking for? I'm not actually sure what I'm looking for. It probably says in the quest, doesn't it? I could read what they actually have said to me. All right, hang on. Let's see. What do you want? What do you want? What do you talk? What do you talk? You can gather materials from the mine and local beasts. He specified the bones should not be from evil creatures. So I have to defeat nice creatures? Like the fox? I doubt that, but let's see. Okay. That didn't do it. Who am I supposed to defeat here then? Let's see. A deer maybe? Oh, mammal type things like lynxes. How about a buck? Oh, a wildcat? Let's check out the wildcat. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, so I'm probably going to finish this and turn it in because fine. Yeah. He only had 1 bone though, apparently. That was suitable. The rest of it was sad. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to turn it in without defeating any more squirrels because that was disappointing. I didn't want to get rid of the squirrel. Anyway, and then I'm going to throw it over to B4, who's going to do his plugging along. What you working on today? What about the buck? Does the buck... Oh, there's a wildcat. We'll do the wildcat. He'll be working on a plugin of some sort today. It could be... No, it probably won't be... All right. It'll be a hit bolt thing, because we're just getting into that over on Treebeard, so he has an interest in doing some stuff with that. Okay, so now I got to go deliver the materials. So here we go. We'll go deliver this. Oh, and Forces got to run and go work horses. Thanks for putting up with me. Oh, thanks for coming by. Little trip down memory lane together. That was a lot of fun. So, well, enjoy the horses, and we shall see you hopefully next week. We'll be back here, same bat time, same bat station. Oh, Aaron Bard says you go for the aurochs, you can't shoot the lynxes. That's fair enough. Arthur says usually there's a few of them around, so maybe somebody else was just clearing them out. Yes. Oh, Cool Wish just added a reminder to your calendar so you remember. Phaedrus might be at the party. Nice. Oh wait, so I gotta go turn this into this guy. Aaron Bard has to go as well. Take care all, he says. We'll take care as well. And yeah, okay, so let me go turn this in. So if you have any last minute questions, pop that into the chat. And we'll make sure we can do what we can to crowdsource answers for you if necessary. Hmm? Okay. Okay. So he says, you return. Thank you, friend. It will do these graybeards well to finally smile, and you have given them reason to do so, even if they do not admit it outright. Oh, what I forgot to mention. Okay, so this guy's going to give me a Midsummer token. The Midsummer Festival activities that you do back in Minas Tirith, they give you 3 Midsummer tokens. So these things that you're doing in the outer areas, they give you 1 Midsummer token at a time. So just be aware that that's a difference. But they do give you these kits. So like the drinking horn kit, you get that one from up here from these guys. Let's see, where are the other ones? Here we go. So we have the strawberry bun baking kit. You get that one from the ones that you do in the Shire. So we're going to turn this in. So now we've got a 4th one of these kits. The this one here, the banner of the newlywed kits, you get those from the quests in Bree. And then this one, the wedding centerpiece kits, you get those from the quest that you do for the elves down in the south of Eredluin. So those are the kits that you can then give to the correct crafter. So like for in this one, it says, does it say? Oh, that was the one it doesn't say. The other ones are useful, I think, right? Oh, that's interesting. No, sorry, I'm just reading this. So like the bun says, you know, butter, honey, and a mix of barley and wheat flours, strawberry jam, some spices, and a note card with instructions. Strawberry bun kits can be earned by completing midsummer quests in Hobbiton Bywater and at the party tree. So it doesn't say who can use them, but I can tell you. Let me pull up my crafting panel. So jewelers can do the wedding centerpiece kits. Cooks can do the strawberry bun baking kits. The drinking horn are metalsmiths and weaponsmiths. The banner of newlywed kits are woodworkers and tailors. So who did I miss? Cook. I thought there was 2 that could do the... Oh, jewelers can do the wedding centerpiece kits. Did I catch all the different... I think I caught all the different crafters. So whatever kind of crafting that you do, there's going to be one of these that you should be able to do. Now, you have to buy the recipe, but it's an apprentice level, so that's nice. And it, so, you know, you don't have to be any level to do it. I mean, as soon as if you are able to craft, you can get, you can do it. And it costs you 1 or 2 festival tokens to buy the recipe. I think it's 1. And but then it's a permanent skill that you have, so permanent knowledge. So that's nice. And the recipes themselves are not bound. So like what I did is one time I had, like my main character was doing all of the questing through Minas Tirith and had like all the tokens. But let's see, what was he? My woodworker, he didn't go out at all. He was never in Minas Tirith, but I wanted him to make the kits for me. So I bought the recipe for my woodworker, and then I gave the recipe to my woodworker and all the kits, and that was easy peasy. Also, the kits are not bound, so that's nice, and you can also sometimes find them on the auction hall or things like that. So, let's see. Moobot does remind that streamers cannot help with, are not able to assist with in-game issues or bans, mainly because we don't even work for Standing Stone, we're just volunteers. So But if you do need help from Standing Stone Games, there's a link, which is basically help.standingstonegames.com. Yes, if you need morale support. Yes, I can help with morale support. Well, if I'm a healer. Ha! Let me be a minstrel, then I can help you with your morale support. Ah. Oh, yes, and let's see, somebody's, Egg Arthur reminds me to get my Hobbit gift. You know, I was so excited, gosh, this is a while ago now, when, what's that guy? The dude that was around for a little while, and then was the, like, one of the producers, so he was working under Severlin, and he had talked about how they wanted to do some of the changes with like monetization of things, and one of them was the Hobbit gifts. Yeah, Renania, thank you. So one of the things he had talked about was the Hobbit gifts, and so currently the way is that every day you get a silver one for free. Everybody gets that, and then if you are a subscriber, so VIP, lifetime, any of that, you get a gold present every Thursday. It resets, so you have like that whole week to pick that up. And you can always buy an extra one for like 8 mithril coins if you want a gold present, and whatever this one is, I'll find out in a minute. So you can always buy more Hobbit gifts if you want to. But anyway, so people will get in their Hobbit gifts things that they don't necessarily want. So like, well, let's just open this one. So what I got is 20 virtue experience in a little pot here, so that's nice. I can use that. But the other thing I got is a minor potion of power. One, I rarely have power issues, and two, I have a ton of these things. Like if you want to talk about potions of power that I have that are bound to account, so I can't even like give them to somebody else. Just sitting in my inventory are these. And this one's bound to my character even, so I can't even give it to another character. So I have a minor potion of power, tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3 stack. Like I have a stack of each of these. So I am flush with these, and that's not even including the ones I pick up off the ground and can use, right? So I don't need blue potions. Like I'm good. And even the green ones, like I do use them a little bit more often because the green ones that have this little border around them, like that come from the store, from Hobbit Presents, don't share the same cooldown as the ones that you get when you're out questing or that you can craft. So these, like these here on the end, have a different cooldown from these other ones over here. So I do stick them on my bar. You can see I've got something sitting there. In fact, let me just throw this other one on there. Why not? So I try to work through them, especially if I'm in a real tight spot. Then I can just like, you know, grab one of these and then grab one of the other ones if I need to. So at least that gives me something to do, right? But I forgot she's slow. But I don't need any more of that. So yeah, so there was some talk of redoing the Hobbit Presents where you'd have like, maybe it was a selection box, or you know, or making some changes in some fashion, like because some people will get something like the dwarf candles, which is what this icon is that's down here that before is using for the festival buddy, and I think the dwarf candles are cool. I have 2 problems with them. One, they're bound, so if I get them, or if somebody else gets them and they don't want them, they can't give them to me. They're stuck with them. Even though I want them, they don't, but they can't give them to me. So that makes me sad. The other thing about dwarf candles I don't like is they're very, very short. They don't last very long at all. And if the idea is to like use them at events, so let me see if I can see if I have any in my shared storage. Now, at least they're account bound, so I can use them among my characters. Yeah, so let's pull out like, I don't know, what's going to be a nice contrast here. We'll do the red one. Okay, so let's pull the red ones out. And let me actually do like this. Okay, so I'm going to put down a dwarf candle. Let me maybe face this way. So you can see it just goes here. And so like there's this really cool pillar of red light in that spot. And it goes up pretty high. Like, it's pretty cool. I like that. And it's neat. You could like stand in it. It's really fun to do. I like doing it with concerts, putting it behind the band as they're playing. you know, so it kind of adds to it. But let's say I'm playing a song, partway through the song, this is going to disappear. And yeah, see, it's already gone. Like it's a 30-second thing or something. It doesn't last very long at all. So that makes me sad because I wish they lasted longer. So, because I mean, like, wouldn't that be cool if you were trying to show somebody how to follow you? And so, like, as you're traveling through Moria, you could just drop them down as you go and people could just follow the lights and follow you down. Wouldn't that be cool? Even if they only lasted for like 4 minutes or something. But yeah, it makes me sad that they go away so fast. So, Coolidge says, I started vending the dwarf candles because you never use them. I know, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would take your dwarf candles. I would use them. So it's sad that that's the case. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Aaron Bard, you're still here. That's so funny. He says, they're also useful for signaling other characters if you don't want to use fellow mapping. Oh, if you don't want to use, like, fellowship. Yeah. But like I said, they just go away so fast. That's the sad thing for me. So I wish they would, 1, make them unbound, and 2, make them last longer. Those are my 2 requests when it comes to the dwarf candles. So, all right. Okay, so there we go. There's my little soapbox, as it were. Here, let me go stand up on the ingredient crate box. There we go. I'm on my soapbox, talking to you about dwarf candles. And maybe I should tell a story. Can I tell a story? Yes, there we go. So I say that the dwarf candles should be able to last longer. Blah, 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 blah. There we are. So are you about 5 minutes? All right. So then I am going to go ahead and sign off here, y'all. And then before we'll be on in about 5 minutes. And so you've got time to go refresh your beverages and use the loo, whatever you need to do, and get yourself ready for our next run. Before we'll be talking about plugins. Oh, Sandy, you're still here. Let me show you something. I went ahead and started another thing, of course, because I'm addicted to knitting now. So this is befuddling me, but it's a shirt. It's going to be a t-shirt, and it's from the top down. So this is the neck, and it's working its way down. I know it doesn't look like much yet, but there we are. It's like stuff and things are happening. So yeah, well, I'll show you. I'll have more to show you, hopefully in like a week. But I'm doing this color changing yarn, so that's going to be fun. So it's starting off with this kind of peachy orangey look. I think that's going to be cool. Yeah, right. I'm hoping to have it done before summer's over, because I like to wear it during the summer. That'd be kind of fun. So, okay. And Sandy says, love the Red Fair stories. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it's lots of fun memories in my mind, that's for sure. So, all right. Well, like I said, I'm going to go sign off, and then I'll be around for before stream, and we'll be enjoying watching him get ready to talk to us about rebuilding Hitbold. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. And we'll be back next week. Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The festival ends July 4th is the last full day of it, I believe. That's the way it was scheduled. So we might be able to do more festival again next Tuesday. So if there's anything you definitely want to see, let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably do something very similar to today where I read through all of it so you can kind of see it. And we'll go from there. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Hey, Pamela. Thanks, everybody. And, oh, Spadot, you're downloading the client now. Well, definitely stick around in the chat if you have any questions, like you want to talk about, well, what kind of character should I play? Like what race, what class? If you have some, if you want that crowdsourced, we can all help with that for sure. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and I will see you next week. And as always, remember to stay in contact with that Hobbit side of your heart and take care of each other. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.